dispassionately as we can. And well, we have to introduce some of our friends right here. But let me say good morning to Alhaji Jibril of National Security, who also is responsible for security issues when it comes to the Tema Enclave, etc. Edmond Combat of the Tema Refinery, Managing Director, wishing all the best, and it's coming from Alhaji Jibril. But we're here to discuss a number of actions, and prominently, we have the jihadists, so to speak. We're told, Dr. Inisa is telling me Ramsey is telling me they are terrorists. Okay, so we have terrorists on that route, Ghana, Burkina Faso. 7 Ghanaian traders were killed, 11 injured in the process. What does it mean for cross-border security? We always know that security in the sub-region is a problem. In the broader scheme of the relationship we have with our neighbors, how do we make sure that we also strengthen our borders, especially when it comes to that end of the country as well? And so we'll be discussing that, and then we'll sneak in some subject matters related to cocoa as well. And so we'll bring that to you. But please, let me just introduce our guest for the morning. I have right here Dr. Ramsey Nusa with the United Party. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Roland. I am doing good, by God's grace. Unfortunately, I was not here when you guys discussed a very sensitive topic, but this is my remark, and I must make sure that my voice is heard on this, in my opinion. Yes, the expose.
Okay.
And
you want it will be a
oh,
bit long. So
it'll be just brief.
Let me just introduce. Then I'll come to you. And then Fred Agbenyo, Member of Parliament for the Guan constituency. Fred, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. I haven't seen the whole of this year.
Yes.
Looking good as usual.
Happy New Year to you.
Many happy
All right.
returns.
And then also Kamal Dean Abdullahi, former Consular General to Saudi. He's here. Good morning to you, Kamal.
Well, good morning, and I'll be very happy to be giving the description as a communicator of the party, as a Deputy Director of Communication.
Deputy Director of Communication for the MPP. He's here. And what did you want to say,
yes,
Dr. Inusa?
Roland, I think that I must say that I'm disappointed with some of the reactions from our people in regard to the scandal involving some of our women and a Russian tourist who came into this country and exploited our women through unethical means. I think that it really exposes the economic vulnerability of our women in this country, and it is time that we all sit on this table and profess solutions to how we can empower our women and uplift our women in the society. As the saying goes, that if you want to empower, a generation, you empower a woman. But if you want to empower an individual, you empower a man. We believe that women are the backbone of our society. And so anybody that undermines the well-being of our women or seeks to portray our women as cheap, Ghanaian women are not cheap. The Ghanaian woman we know is not cheap, Roland.
What's your point?
You go out, that's what I'm saying, that you go out there today, look around the city in Accra, you see women carrying loads on their heads to make a living. You see them with their kids behind their back, struggling to make a living. What I'm saying, what I'm driving home is that we need to establish an egalitarian policy framework that seeks to empower women and also eradicates the ideology of misogyny within our society and our cultural norms when it comes to women. Our women are not cheap. And I seek to clarify this. Thank you.
Which society? Because this was perpetrated by a Russian. So, that said, we know that at least 7 Ghanaians were killed. The Burkina terrorists, so to speak. They say they are jihadists. You know, it depends on how you want to do the description. The ministry relatedly monitoring this, Interior as well as Foreign Affairs, and then we have Defense as well. All of them collaborating to make sure that we strengthen relations with Burkina Faso as well as our neighbors. But the Sahel in itself is It's a very thorny area, very volatile as it is, and it doesn't really look good. Fred Agbanyo.
Roland, thank you very much for the opportunity. Let me say good morning to our viewers, especially the good people of the Guam constituency. Let me thank the Minister of Road and Highways and the highway engineer, Malam. We are a road that is giving us a lot of headache. The road between Hoho and Sandokovi Benoit. By the grace of God, yesterday, road leader moved in and they started the reshaping. At least it will ease off the pressure that is on the motorists and all the people using the road. I pray that we are able to complete that project in record time so that our people can move their goods and themselves about without any challenge. The news about what happened in Burkina Faso, I heard the news, I think, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, and it was heartbroken, that our mothers who have just decided to go and trade, will not return home because some persons have pounced on them. We are told the vehicle they were sitting in was set ablaze, and then 7 of them were burned beyond recognition. Others were injured and all that. I think it's a very, very pathetic situation, and we have to commiserate with their families and empathize with them and ask them to remain strong. The minister has informed us that the embassy in Burkina Faso is trying to get involved. Unfortunately, to even get to the scene is becoming a problem. But the Burkina security has assured us that they are going to do everything possible and assist those who are still alive to be able to make their way to the embassy and eventually return to Ghana. What is happening in the Sahel region, I dare say it is God that has saved us as a country, and also the fact that our security intelligence have maybe lived up to the task. Because right from Mali to Niger to Burkina Faso, it's been like this for several years now, all the way even up more. It's been like this for several years now. And sometimes you sit back and ask yourself, what is that we have done right that they have not been able to penetrate our country? We have picked some intelligence where some persons have disguised themselves. They enter into some of the communities around the border area. They settle in. Sensibly, I'm sure they're trying to spy and see how they can strike. I think our security has done quite well in picking the intelligence and protecting the territorial integrity of this country. One of the things that a lot of us have been advocating for, Roland, is that you don't create that conducive environment that some of these exigencies may want to leverage on. When we have internal issues, we are fighting among ourselves internally. Oftentimes, they want to form alliance with you, take advantage. They will come and resource you so that they can also move in. But this far, we'll be able to manage our affairs. But Roland, even as we discuss this issue from the security, perspective, the first question is, what took these women there? We are told these are traders who go there to go and buy tomatoes.
Yes.
They go there to go and buy onion. In some cases, to go and buy contomere, Contomere.
You did mention cocoyam leaves?
Cocoyam leaves.
I see.
If you have ever been to the Paga border, you see the kind of things that are brought into the country on daily basis. Every morning, you see empty trucks going to Burkina Faso with these wooden containers in which they keep some of these items. They move in numbers. Then towards evening, you see them returning with tomatoes, with onions, and you watch as a Ghanaian. And sometimes it is so pathetic, so sad, that you live in a country like this. Look at the arable land that we have. The black, the white voter to the lake flows all the way from Upper East, virtually cuts across the entire country, empties into the sea at Ada. Why should a country like this move to a more desert country to go and buy tomatoes, to go and buy onions, right? And this is a conversation we have had time with that number. And you sit back, Roland, this is not rocket science. As we speak right now, go to most part of Europe, go to America and what have you, it is snowing all over the place. Most of these things started around November, December. It's going to snow all the way through to April. And yet these people, the few months that they have, they are still able to cultivate the land. They produce so much food, feed themselves, and bring the surplus to us in Africa. We have the benefit of sunshine. The sun is up there. The land is good. The vegetation is good. The river, fresh water is available. What at all is it going to take us to be able to produce the things we eat in this country? The last time I checked, akukonam, you know akukonam, kukulolala, I don't know about chicken, right? Almost 65 to 70% is imported into this country. It's like,
I don't understand. Aren't you inducting your arguments?
I am happy.
Because there's supposed to be akukon kite.
I am happy that.
And then the ministry
policy,
is supposed to.
So
what's your point?
I am saying that was the situation up until now. Now we have agreed that we want to use the akukon kite program. We want to encourage as many Ghanaians as possible to be able to raise birds in their homes. Because for me, right from GSS, we knew what it means to have a pen behind your house, get some bamboos and just fence around, have your own birds in there, that you don't even need to go and buy distance. I don't know at what point we degenerated so badly that all these things now were bought. You go, somebody lives in a village and he goes to a cold store and says, I want to buy a chicken wing, I want to buy a thigh, I'm going to repair soon. I haven't eaten the whole day because there's no money to buy a chicken. This policy that have been introduced, if we can police it well and do it well and quickly put a system in place that when these birds are produced, somebody can move in there and buy it off the people. You know, it will motivate them to want to do more. But when we have a situation where they have produced their birds and nobody is buying it, then it will demotivate them to want to, continue. So I'm sure the ministry is fashioning out a program where quickly we can move in, we buy, we process, then we can supply. Let me conclude on this issue that maybe these are mothers, 7 of them who have died, and those who have been injured. Just maybe, if we have been a little bit responsible as a people and we have done our things well, maybe they wouldn't have gone all the way to Burkina Faso and beyond to go and buy tomatoes for which they would have lost their lives. These are things that we can cultivate. Go to Oti, vast lands, all the way to the Savannah area, all the way to the Gonja land, northeast, upper east, upper west. Look at the upper west. Look at the land available. Very, very fertile land. Go all the way to Bonahafu region. Almost every part of this country. See, where in Accra, even your house, if you put plantain over there within a few months, you harvest it. If you put tomatoes in your tomato seed in your flower pot, it will germinate, it will grow. And so, what does it take? What does it take? I again sympathize with the bereaved families. We are told that the people have not even been identified now. As of now, we don't even know who the 7 people are. And so they are now trying to identify who they are. And so if you're in a house, you're a son, you're a daughter, and your mommy inform you that I'm going to Burkina Faso to go and get food stuff and come, and you hear news like this, as if your mother is dead or not, it's one of the injured people that has not come. So you can imagine what the family is going through around this time. I think it's worrying. Let's see how we can turn this challenge into an opportunity and do our things well locally so that some of these things are avoided. Let me also, again, encourage our security services. This far, they are doing well. Let's try as much as possible to make sure that we don't allow these people to enter into our country. It becomes very, very problematic when state security loses control and some of these terrorist groups become so powerful. You know the story about the Boko Haram in Nigeria and all the things that are happening. We are told that the Americans have moved in to try and give some support and assistance. If the Sahel region require any such assistance, I think we should be able to move in, all of us. And that is why some of us believe that we need Africa military command. You know, as a sub-region, we need our own military command where we can assist each other in times like this, where these terrorist groups don't take advantage and kill innocent people.
Dr. Inusa, at the end of the day, it talks completely about the instability in the sub-region, for which the heads of state should ideally be very frontal in dealing with it, because that's at the heart of the conversation, protecting the rights of citizenry. And those rights of those citizens then will have to be taken up by those leaders if they deem it fit, because it's a sub-regional body. And at the end of the day, irrespective of whether it's volatile or not, I mean, the rights have to be protected. Is that not the case?
Absolutely, Roland. I must also clarify one thing here. And I think that the Ghanaian media space has been very matured in the kind of words they use to describe these terrorists. You know, there is a modern neologism for jihadism, right? And once you say jihadism or jihadists, it tends to quell a Muslim who is a militant and all that. I think that we should not confuse that. These people are terrorists. They are not jihadists. And it has nothing to do with jihad. And I know my learned brother here would concur to what I'm saying. This is an act of terrorism which has nothing to do with religion. So I want us to establish that fact going forward. Roland, let me use this opportunity to commiserate with the families of the bereaved and to send my condolences to them once again for their loss. It is quite sad that we woke up as a country to hear this news, that our mothers who are petty traders, trying as much as possible to bring food on the table of most of us, have lost their life in trying to do so. The current situation in the Sahel region is nothing to write home about. We should not forget that this issue is as a result of the Western hegemonic system. People might argue or counter-argue to what I'm saying, but the fall of Gaddafi, Muammar al-Gaddafi, contributed to this menace.
The fall of Gaddafi?
The fall of Gaddafi contributed to this menace.
Exacerbated the situation.
Absolutely.
With arms being...
Exactly. Muammar al-Gaddafi and his Libyan army created a buffer between the north and the south. And until the fall, we didn't hear anything of such, even in Mali. But unfortunately, we have to deal with this situation. I want to commend the President of the Republic of Ghana for doing one thing, creating a liaison between Ghana and then the Sahelian states. Because, Roland, these are matters of security here. If there is a blockade when it comes to communication and there's no bridge to discuss these matters and share intelligence, it becomes an issue. And that is why I think that the competent person he has appointed, Colonel Bevlelati,
that's right,
to be the liaison between Ghana and then the Sahelian states is absolutely perfect. And we need that at this dire moment. Now, the issue happening in Burkina Faso, I think that we should not sit in Ghana and think that we are safe. This is indeed a signal to tell us that we are not safe.
That is closer than we think.
It's closer than we think. And they are expanding towards the southern aspects of the Sahelian region. And they are going to get to our border towns. Already, we've had news that some of these terrorists have crossed our border towns and they've settled there, and they are even selling arms in Boku. We've heard of all these news. So it is about time we put in preventative measures in place. We retool our Ghana Armed Forces and Air Force. I do not think that we have the adequate air power when it comes to our Ghana Air Force. We have to be honest here. We do not have that air power to combat these terrorists indeed, if they come into our country. And so this is an opportunity for Parliament to see how best they can look for the money to retool the Ghana Armed Forces. Our national security apparatus to also have to be retooled. If left to us alone, I would want our borders between Ghana and Burkina Faso, Ghana, Togo, and then Ghana, Ivory Coast, to have these scanning devices so that we can scan each and every vehicle that comes into this country to know what is inside. Now, the issue about why this woman went to Burkina Faso in the first place was to buy tomatoes. Now, the 5 northern regions in Ghana has more arable land to feed the whole of West Africa. Roland, the 5 northern regions in Ghana has more arable lands to feed the whole of West Africa.
That's in the textbook. In reality, it hasn't happened.
No, but I'm saying that because we haven't had the political will to ensure that agriculture, we have a form of agricultural revolution happening in the 5 northern regions. The previous administration talked about the Poalogo multipurpose irrigational dam, which was a very important infrastructure to the northern region to help with agriculture. What happened of it? They talked about planting for food and jobs.
But the previous administration has been well over a year gone.
Roland, I am hitting on something. We will come into today's contemporary issues. But I'm saying that the previous administration had all these policies in place. They had this opportunity to change the fortunes of this country when it comes to our agricultural sector. They even had a policy, planting for food and jobs. Yet still, we did not see that. Our women still went ahead to go into these war-torn regions and these very insecure regions to procure food items and come and sell into our markets. This current government has come into this, come into the office, and there's a lot of expectation. But 1 year down the line, we're yet to see a policy that would boost agriculture in our 5 northern regions so that we would be able to decrease the importation of food from these regions.
It doesn't take away the subject matter of the terrorists, as you call them, along the routes.
Well,
because irrespective of where we're not an island, so we have to trade. Is that not the case?
Absolutely, but again, I mean, we have more arable land, right? So if we put in the right infrastructure, we put in the right policies. For example, I mean, we have even said in our GTP that no country on the face of this earth would survive in terms of commercial farming with a double-digit interest rate on loans. No farmer can survive with that. So that is why this should be an opportunity for the cabinet and then the Ministry of Finance together with the central bank to bring about a concessionary loan facility to support our farmers who want to engage in commercial farming so that we can be able to reduce the number of food items that we import. Tomato it doesn't take anything to grow tomato here. I hear that the Tema Oil refinery is back on track and is processing crude oil. As a byproduct of crude oil is fertilizer. And we know how Nigeria is making it big in the global stage when it comes to fertilizer. So Tema Oil refinery should also look at how best they can also have that portfolio so that they can be able to support our farmers locally, you know, in the supply of inorganic fertilizer so that we can boost our agricultural output.
Kamaldeen, the jihadis or the terrorists as they are described today, and it looks like the inactiveness of our government in the sub-region to be able to deal with them, and there are doorsteps, Kamal.
Well, you see, Roland, good morning to you.
Morning,
and good morning to Doc, as well as my brother, Honorable Agbanyo. And to your viewers out there. I think this is my first time.
Since the boycott.
Since the boycott. And
welcome back.
I pray and hope that the reason why we all had to depart from each other would not occur again. And that we move on in unison as a people to help develop this country. Roland, this issue about terrorism let us not create the impression that it just started yesterday. As a result, some women,
True.
okay, have been killed who are citizens of Ghana. I recall not too long ago, BBC reported that our territory, okay, stood the risk of being attacked by terrorists some time ago. I recall when reports came under the administration of Nanado that some Islamist group were invading some parts of northern region. And it took the Honorable Kandapa and his team to work that out. I recall when we had reports that from La Côte d'Ivoire, between Ghana and La Côte d'Ivoire border, in the north, there were some reports of terrorists coming in, as it were. It tells you that this is a matter we must fight head on. If you take Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Cameroon, Nigeria, okay, fortunately Senegal, fortunately Ghana is not mentioned. They are all having to deal with this insurgents. I think that it is something we really must fight against. And we will lose it immediately we introduce that bit of religion. That is why I want to side with my brother's comment that, look, the reportage of same must actually be quelled towards terrorist attacks.
That's right.
And every single person who is fighting it must know that that individual who is doing that is not linked to any religion. Why? People use names.
Even though they come in the name of religion.
KKK happened in the US some time ago. Okay? And what happened? It was religion. Ireland, there were attacks. It was religion. Nobody will say because of that Christians, with the grace of respect, are terrorists. Look, groups, Islamist groups that come out to do this are not Muslims.
That's right.
Let's attack the individuals. That said, I think Ghana should actually be praised a bit. And he cited the gesture by the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, for appointing the venerable Colonel Bevlolati to deal with the Sahel region, as it were. I believe this forms part of the efforts. Insecurity in the sub-region affects all of us. Okay? And I think that when this happened, whether MPP or NDC, let us look at it as an act of insecurity that we must all contribute to ensure that it is nipped in the bud.
If you read the literature, whether it's from the UN or from the United States and their departments, and particularly you look at what the information is, especially those rebels from Chad, they get into northern Nigeria and that aspect of West Africa, they somehow tend to have a trickle effect into us.
Absolutely.
To the point that even sometime about a year or 2 or 3 ago, some military personnel of ours who were deployed to Boko, Garu, the Misiga border, it said some of those miscreants who were perpetrating the crime by killing others were using MG3s as well as other sophisticated weapons. Certainly not supplied by anyone in Ghana. And so it means across border. Now, how should ECOWAS deal with this, knowing that it doesn't only affect one country, but there has to be a solid united front towards this?
A very good question and a very good angle you have introduced into this conversation. ECOWAS. Where is ECOWAS now? Out of ECOWAS, we now have the Sahel region. We are broken away. So how are we collaborating after the breakaway to ensure that we are all safe? It is very important. That's why we commend John Dramani Mahama for what he did. Equally, we commend past government for they actually watching closely the happenings around those borders. I remember the Akufo-Addo government had to institute what we call see something, say something, as it were, to augment the operations of the national security, as it were. So I think that, yes, the ECOWAS has a duty, look, irrespective of your whatever interest in terms of your sovereign arrangements. But a collective duty in the sub-region is supposed to be on us as a people to ensure that some of these things, nefarious activities, are actually fought. Now, the other angle, which my brother espoused, and of course Honorable also espoused, agriculture. The main reason why our women suffered this, and rightly put by Doctor, with all the arable land that we have, with all the policies that we claim we have, what have we done? Rhetorics? The NDC in their manifesto said they were going to build farmers' center throughout 16 regions. Zero. They have not done it.
It's ongoing.
Zero. You have not done. Not ongoing. You have not seen anything. Maybe you have to show us pictures. Zero. The NDC tells us that they dumped one district, one village, one dam project, which was supposed to ensure that irrigation was given a boost. It is as a result of good irrigation that you can have tomato farming. Okay? They condemned
one village, one dam.
I'm saying they condemned one village, one dam, all right. I thought there would have been superior policy replacing that to ensure that at least we look into ourselves, what we can do to feed ourselves. My brother sits here and laments that we are importing tomatoes and we are importing some vegetables and whatever, which we could have done. He has the duty to fix it. I am happy you said, you asked him whether he wasn't indicting himself. He has a duty to fix it as a government. But I'm sad. Today, the farmer, especially the cocoa farmer, is struggling. The cereal farmer up north is struggling. Rice farmers are suffering as a result of glut. No market for them. What have we done as a people to stop the importation, which my brother complains about, so that we can all resort to buying the local rice and there will not be glut in the system? So that when we enhance the activities of farmers in this country, without rhetorically coming out to say we are doing something, I believe people will not travel out of the country, okay, under these hazardous conditions to bring in whatever that we want. It is not to say that we are breaking our relationship with Burkina Faso or some other country, because they also come into Ghana and buy whatever we want. I am so much conversant with that area. When you go to Bito, Bito is after Boko, Misiga border, when you pass into Bito, that's Burkina Faso, where the Busangas are. That place, I remember some time ago, terrorists even attacked them. Okay, they come in, that's where we go to buy beans and then onions and all those things. Okay, they also come into Ghana and then buy whatever they want. That relationship is there. But of course, it is important that we look into ourselves, help ourselves. When COVID struck, what happened? We were able to become ingenious as a people. We were not traveling, lockdown happened, people were able to find a way of living, find a way of surviving. I think this is supposed to be our mindset. Tomatoes, Akumandan here, Akumandan. We can develop proper tomato farming in Akumandan. Okay, what have we done about it? Government upon government, rhetorical. We all come, we talk, and then we move on. We come and put all these fine policies in our manifestos, all these fine policies in our, even in our budgets. And parliamentarians will have to pass it, but yet nothing happened, no show. Just yesterday, sadly, I was listening to our Greek minister, who is not even aware that Côte d'Ivoire, our neighbors, who are also producers of cocoa, have even maintained the producer price for their farmers because they want farmers to actually look good and feel good. Unlike Ghana, where we have actually shortchanged them by some close to 1,000 Ghana cedis. Côte d'Ivoire maintained 3,600 plus. Unlike Ghana, where we decided we want to buy luxury vehicles, Land Cruisers, luxury pickups for officers, and have good salaries, and our farmers are rather languishing in poverty. Our own agriculture minister didn't even know that when they asked him yesterday. He said, really? He is not aware. He thought the field Côte d'Ivoire rather it has also reduced, and that Côte d'Ivoire is complaining and Togo is complaining of their beans being smuggled to Ghana. Rather, I was surprised. But I think that all this said, if we are able to ensure that our agriculture is giving a boost, like Honorable Frederick Bano said, and like Doctor said, and like I'm agreeing with them, we all ensure that our farmers have market for their produce. We ensure that our farmers indeed have that conducive environment to farm within this country and feed ourselves, I don't think some of these things will affect us so much.
All right.
But that said, my condolences to the bereaved families, and I think that it's a national loss. The flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, had cause to write on his wall to condole the bereaved families and also say that, look, we should actually up our game in terms of national security. It is important. The minority also have spoken through my brother, John Jinapo, who, Abu Jinapo, said that, look, it is important we collaborate with national security of Burkina Faso and other neighboring countries to ensure that some of these things are kept, as it were. I think on our part as a party, we extend our condolences to the bereaved families.
All right. And to wrap up on this subject, you wanted to add something to it. Richard Kumado is a security consultant. He's joined us. Richard, good morning.
Good morning, Roland.
Yes, so the Sahel problem and then also its ripple effect on Ghana. And Ghana generally is considered to be the beacon of peace, a haven of peace and security, so to speak. But then we have on the fringes of our borders that being threatened. What's the sort of collaboration we need to undertake? Because this one, you can't do it alone, can you?
Definitely, yes. So that is why what we have done over the years, particularly when the Sahel region decided to leave ECOWAS, as a nation, Ghana, what we have done is to establish a strategic relationship with them, and by appointing an envoy into the region. What it does is that it helps us with the Sahel region to share intelligence and to have dialogue and to have geopolitical discussions at the highest levels of political governance. Security management otherwise has been very challenged within the Sahel region. And because they are our closed-door neighbors, whatever happens there have a ripple effect here. We will work very hard to ensure that national sovereignty guarantees are achieved. Public safety challenges within these countries will have to be fixed, but until then, we will operate with a high-level intelligence to ensure that our country is safe and we maintain a stability that ensures that the right of every Ghanaian is secured.
If that collaboration will have to be done, how do we, and Kamal was commenting on this, so we have West African or ECOWAS former members who have now left the group and they're on their own. You are part of ECOWAS, your borders are porous, they are affected. How do you go tighten your collaboration so that security could be improved, you know, in that space?
There are various dimensions of dealing with political governance and security governance. So we have not become the source of daily living ECOWAS. We have not become a target to them in terms of political governance. We have had a good relationship with them. We leverage on that. And to say that, yeah, they may have challenges living ECOWAS, but we are not the cause. And they have not made us the cause for living ECOWAS. And that has been one of the strengths we have, and that has been some of the things we benchmark. In terms of security infractions and security breaches within these countries, our current president have done a good job. They see him as their big brother. The envoy appointed into the Sahel region is a well-experienced person who have handled issues of global security at the African Union. He knows the terrain so well. Some of us have traveled to some of these countries on frequent occasions. We can map up these countries and we can deal with issues that have an overriding effect into our country. And people say we are lucky. Their luck has helped us. But it's also to say that our security agencies have worked so hard over the years. The counter-terrorism units we have within the law enforcement agencies in Ghana have worked so well over the years and made sure that our country is protected and things of issues like the one that have a ripple effect in our country. But Roland, having said that, security management is a continuous process. So we will keep our eyes on the ball and make sure that intelligence is always made available for decision makers to make the right decisions for our country.
Okay. Thank you very much, Richard Kumado. Wishing you all the best for the day. And you wanted to say something. But Fred, let's turn our attention to Cocoa. I've seen that Cocoa Board has issued a statement. They said they have cuts, what they call cuts in salaries of management and senior staff. And in the overall scheme of things, how is that expected to do the needful impact?
You see,
and ameliorate the difficulties currently farmers are facing?
Well, Roland, you see, it's not as if all of us cannot come and sit here this early morning and do the usual partisan politics and blame game and get up and go back to our homes or our offices. But how does that help Ghana as a nation to develop? Right? You have been in power before. You just left power. Now the question is, what is the trump card in the area of agriculture? What is that we can point to today that for the past 8 years that you were in power, this is what you did in the agriculture sector, and this is the improvement that you brought to the agriculture sector? I'm not interested in that argument, that debate. Ghana belongs to all of us. If we get it well, it benefits all of us. And that is why in my conversation, I decided not to do those things. I was not lamenting, I was not complaining. It's not as if government is not doing anything about it. We are urging that we do more because we are capable of doing more. As a country where we sit today, if we all agree that we are an agrarian nation, an agrarian economy, then we must not just be on paper an agrarian economy, but in reality and practically, we must be seen to be so. Today we are told that almost 70% of our population is engaged in the agriculture sector. So a country with that huge population, whereas in Europe, they're talking about 3% of the people in the agriculture sector. America is about 4% in agriculture. And more than 60 of us are in agriculture, and yet we cannot feed ourselves. It's a problem. It's a problem. You cannot sit here and blame it on one government. That point has come, all of us must come around the table as political actors who will always get opportunity to govern this country and ask ourselves, what do we do? Governance is continuous. You lay the foundation, somebody comes to continue from there. We have a clear agenda as to where we are taking the country to. We have set a target for ourselves that in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, we don't want to import rice, we don't want to import sugar, we don't want to import tomato, we don't want to import this. Then we are building a nation. And so for me, I am not interested in this blame game this morning. That is, it's not going to solve anybody's problem, right? That is why I decided to stay away from that issue. The issue with cocoa farming, we can only empathize.
I think your region, Ote region, it's a cocoa.
I'm a cocoa farmer myself. I have cocoa farms. And so we can only empathize with the Ghanaian cocoa farmer. Over the years, we've tried everything that we could to make the life of the Ghanaian cocoa farmer better. Because up until recently, Ghana's economy is largely hinged on cocoa until we found oil and all this. Cocoa has been the mainstay that has helped this country and kept this country going. When you travel to the cocoa growing areas and you look at the standard of living of the Ghanaian cocoa farmer, you ask yourself if it is worth it. And that's why some of us are not surprised that today you go back to our villages, all the young men and the young women are running away. And the people who are still tilting the land and growing cocoa are the old people. Because you look at your father, your mother, they've done this in all many years. They still sleep in the apartment buildings. You know, they still cannot even buy a good shirt to wear. They still are walking barefooted. To paving your feet becomes a problem. In years past, go to Cocoa Board and go and check people who benefited from Cocoa Scholarship. There are people whose parents may not necessarily have a farm. They are the same, rich people in society who will find a way and make sure that their children are enrolled. And then the poor farmer in the village who is farming and struggling doesn't benefit. People have made the argument that even Cocoa Hospital that was built, the hospital is in Accra, when the farmers are in the village over there, how does it benefit them? A few of the things we have done, that we give them seedlings, we give them fertilizers, we do spraying and pruning and all those things that we do. Roland, it got to a point, again, sorry if I sound political about this. 8 years ago, we call them CMBs, the government buying facilities. In my area, they don't even open the offices. Nobody was buying the produce from the people. Even the few that they bought, they were not paying them. The free fertilizer that were given, the fertilizer was not going, the seedlings were not going, the pruning nothing was going. At that time that Ghana was selling cocoa at 3,100 Ghana in this country, those who were coming from Togo to come and buy from our place, if you put together, they were paying almost 7,000. So as rational human beings, the Ghana government was not paying, was not buying. They naturally moved their cocoa to that area And so in our entire area, OT, all the way towards Nkwanta, where they grow cocoa, majority of them were thinking that could go to Togo.
To Togo?
That's the reality.
Because of?
The price.
Okay.
The price, and also the fact that Ghana government didn't have money to pay. Now the situation until we came into office.
All right, so the price was lower here.
It was far lower.
And it was more incentivized because it was
more
higher
incentivized to take it to Togo. It was more incentivized to take it to Togo. And what the people did, you don't even have to, as a farmer, to carry the cocoa to Togo like they were doing years back. They themselves moved in, and they have their agents on the ground. They were not buying the cocoa in sacks again. They were using a lonka to measure. And some
but Fred, in that same vein, if you argue that way, now that the government has reduced price, of which they would have taken this cocoa from the farmers who till the land, they break their pods and dry it and then give us the beans. Then, even if our neighbors also have an open market, if their price is higher than ours, subsequently also means that provides them with the incentive to take their cocoa across the borders.
Yeah, the sad and the good news now is that the price in Togo today is worse off than Ghana's price. The price in Côte d'Ivoire is also down.
Why?
And so instead...
Okay, so it's an industry problem.
That's right, it's an industry problem. It's a global issue because the world market price has come down. So it is not something peculiar to only Ghana.
But could they maintain? They haven't.
If they had maintained their price, all the cocoa from Brona halfway and they would have moved into Côte d'Ivoire. Hold it. How come they are moving their cocoa back into Ghana if their price has gone up? If they had maintained their price, we are claiming, how come the the Côte d'Ivoire people are bringing their cocoa into Ghana? It is not true.
Oh, really?
I'm telling you, I grow cocoa, I live on a borderline, and I know what is going on. If you go to Togo today, their price is so low that they cannot come and buy Ghana's cocoa again. We are not saying that what has happened to us is good. Me, in every challenge, you try to find a solution, a long-lasting solution. If there is one policy government that's announced that I am so happy with, and I pray we are able to implement, is the fact that moving forward, we intend to at least process 50% of our cocoa beans. And also that we are not going to mortgage these beans and go and take some money and come and use the money to pay, and then we are going to use our own resources to pay for the beans. Really, Roland, go and check these private companies that are processing our cocoa into chocolate and what have you. In no years past, they have to move to other countries like Côte d'Ivoire to go and buy the beans and bring to Ghana.
Well,
they couldn't buy. They still do. They couldn't buy our beans because the concessional loans we have gone for, and we have used our cocoa as collateral. And so we couldn't use our own beans. And so we have a problem today. Question is government sleeping? No. The policies that have been announced, if you're able to implement them, medium to long term, will it help the Ghanaian cocoa farmer? Right. Yes. Will Ghana benefit from it? Yes. So we can look at the glass as half empty or half full. Where I sit, I want to look at the glass as half full, that there is a problem. The cocoa farmer is suffering. Nobody can run away from it. You go to the gold mining areas, we all know what the gold farmers are going through. That some are even giving away their farms now. They are cutting down the trees so they can go into mining. What do we do to turn that thing around? For me, processing our cocoa here, adding value. Because I read a recent document, Roland, Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, actually we are the two biggest nations that produce cocoa globally. And our benefit from cocoa is less than 2%. On a scale of 1 to 100, we benefit less than 2%.
Of the world capitalized market.
Less than 2%. How does that work? So that people who have not even seen a cocoa tree before, they don't even know how the beans is processed, are the ones who are benefiting. And we have done this thing all these many years.
Yeah. So from the World Cocoa Foundation, the capitalization for the industry is over 100 billion, and we get only 2%.
Only 2%, which is sad. And so, again, my brother and I can come and sit here and do our usual MPP, NDC politics. Today, the price has been reduced. So for them, it's a good time to do politics. Oh, the cocoa farmer is suffering. The cocoa farmer is... You can do all those things. All right. Is that the solution? Is that the solution? What was the state of the Ghanaian cocoa farmer before you left office? What was the state of the cocoa board before you left office? Is that the argument you also want me to do this morning? Is that you're going to solve Ghana's problem?
All right.
We have a problem on hand. government has taken very bold and decisive decision. I am aware that some monies have been released. Now they'll start paying the cocoa farmers, we'll buy the cocoa beans from them. We are trying to resource all those who are going to process and add value to the cocoa beans to start doing so. And I am very confident that medium to long term, we are going to see an improvement. I'm happy to note this morning that the workers at Cocoa Board have agreed to some salary cuts and what have you.
It's management. Those who
management, of course, those who earn more.
So we have management and senior
This is
staff.
not the first time this is happening. Remember years ago, Tor, when my brother Kwame Wadaku was at Tor, was managing Tor at that point, Tor was not working. Management workers agreed to, take some salary cut so we can revive the company. I have confidence in the current managers of Cocoa Board. There are problems. You don't throw the baby and the dirty water away. Let us encourage them. Let's support them. Let's turn the system around for the benefit of all of us.
All right. At the end of the day, it's not preaching. You preach. It's nice. But at the end of the day, the farmers will have to get what they want. Already, yesterday...
Did I sound like a preacher?
Well, I wasn't making reference to you. It's just a general question.
Why was your comment after my presentation?
He's talking about the MPP and the NDC.
Okay. So yesterday, Reuters came out with a report, and it gave us a perspective, because the Reuters report is indicating that if you do a conversion of the CFA francs equivalent of what the farmers in Cote d'Ivoire are receiving, that's 3,600 within their purchasing power and then the micro and macroeconomic environment that they have. So relatively, I've seen the comparison on social media, whether that is coterminous with the purchasing power of the average cocoa farmer, also relative to what they are receiving, or also as one part of the argument. But inherent in that report is every indication that those who are the intermediary buyers, just like the way we have here, pay less to the farmers, because they then onwardly will have to also go and sell to Cocoa Board, okay? So to their equivalent of Cocoa Board, so to speak. They are giving the farmers less. So that 3,600 per se is not getting to the farmers, because the intermediaries, now their body says that they will buy directly from the farmers. They also are indicating that they're not going to sell at that price. So now the cocoa bags are being taken back to the warehouse or to their shacks or their facilities where they store them. You clearly will find that there's an industry problem because of the price, the commodity price on the market. How do we navigate this so that we don't degenerate into a situation where we saw the farmer then will have to make a buyer decision or a seller decision? The price I'm getting here is lower. Where do I get the best incentivized price in a good market? And so I have to smuggle across the border. And we, in turn, as a country, will have to lose revenue, so to speak.
Roland, the cocoa paradox is still ongoing. And as a young man in this country, it always hurts my heart to live in such a paradox as far as cocoa is concerned. Tete Kwashi brought cocoa into this country. He has done his bit. He has blessed us with at least an industry that gives us $2 billion a year. What has that generation post-Tete Kwashi, in terms of leadership, added to the cocoa industry? I do not think that it makes sense that, for example, the world chocolate market is worth $123 billion. Knowing very well that Ghana and Ivory Coast supply 60% of the world's cocoa beans, and we earn only $2 billion. Roland, this is beyond common sense. This is an issue, and it's a big disgrace on the face of all the leaders that have led us in this country. Okay. They should take ownership, and they should be ashamed of this paradox that is happening to us as a people. Today, they make reference of certain diseases like the swollen stem shoot disease that is bedeviling the cocoa sector. How long has this issue been relevant in the cocoa sector? It has been as anachronistic as Adam in the cocoa sector. Yet still, Cocoa Board has not pumped in money for research and development to mitigate this issue. We come to the supply of cocoa beans to our local industries. Today, how many industries that in Ghana locally that process cocoa beans, right, and even manufacture chocolate that can compete in the global stage? How many of them do we have? You go to Belgium, you go to Switzerland, they don't even have a single cocoa tree. Yes, still, they are the market leaders when it comes to various chocolate brands across the world. We, together with Ivory Coast, through our cocoa initiative that they created in 2019, have failed our various people. Because the cocoa initiative that was created under the partnership between Ghana and Ivory Coast, I was thinking that was going to monopolize the prices of cocoa in the global stage. But today, our prices are determined by either New York or London. Yes, still, we control 60%. We have the power of supply. So going forward, I think that there should be a bilateral agreement, again, between Ghana and Ivory Coast to establish an authority that would price the cocoa beans, devoid of all these shenanigans that's happening within the global market space, so that we can have value for money for our cocoa farmers. We should also ensure that not only 50% processing, but 100%. We should not export our cocoa beans in this raw form. We will force them to come here to come and process it. We will force them to come and buy even processed cocoa products from our people. And indeed, it would create an enormous employment opportunity for our youth. And it would give our farmers some form of relief when it comes to
the conversation about buying from the farmers and paying them lower than what the price was. It's a conversation that adequately hasn't been dealt with.
Yes.
Because especially the MPP, they argue that it's never happened before. Well, they need to have drastic cuts.
Yeah, Roland, the main factor that contributed to this issue is the cocoa syndication loan, which, of course, under the previous regime, at the end of their tenure, they could not raise that syndication loan. Now, Roland, listen to this very well. We go and borrow dollars, $2 billion each year, to come and buy cocoa beans that is sold in cities. When we finish and we sell it, we will have to change dollars locally again to be able to amortize those loans. I mean, Roland, this, I mean, for want of a better word, is this commonsensical?
But that's how we've been doing it over the last couple of years. With the section of 23, 24,
that's what I'm saying, 2024,
because of the debt exchange program
and all that, and that we were highly insolvent, so we could not borrow. Yes.
The rates were high. We could go, but the rates were high.
But we were also highly insolvent. You know, we couldn't afford for that. Roland, this is an issue. $2 billion can be raised locally in Ghana if the Ministry of Finance, together with the central bank, is able to raise what we call cocoa bonds. I myself can even purchase cocoa bonds. You yourself can purchase. Workers within our civil space can purchase it. And then the government can use these funds to purchase the cocoa locally and then export and have dollars in their reserves. So this has been a major issue. And I think that going forward, the Minister for Finance should ensure that they abolish the cocoa syndication loan.
Abolish?
Abolish it. And that is the stance of the United Party. It should be abolished.
Because the president at
we can do without it.
At that AU interaction did indicate that we need to buy from the local market.
Exactly.
So
it's sold in cities.
Source the capital and be able to buy.
It's sold in cities. $2 billion can be raised locally here.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the ORCCP report, Ghana loses $3 billion each year due to corruption. Due to corruption. I even think that they have even underreported the figure.
Oral said 21 billion would have recovered.
Yeah, yes, even 21 billion under the MPP, alleged by Oral. So you can imagine how much we can raise locally here. Roland, and I think that this is a time for the government to look at also the dreams and aspirations of the Ghanaian youth and entrepreneurs in this space. I have said that it does not make sense for the global chocolate market to be over $123 billion with an annual compound growth rate of 3.9%. Yet still, our farmers or the country between Ghana and Ivory Coast earns less than $3 billion a year from this. This is a huge paradox, and we need to really change that.
Okay, come on. The president at that interaction says that, you know, the collateral for the funding is the cocoa beans.
Yeah.
You collateralize the beans with the financier, buy them, ship them, and they pay you the international market price. It means that if the price is low, at the time that you were undertaking this transaction, the price was higher. But the time that you have to pay, you are paid back, the price is low. It also means that has an effect. Of course, we have forward pricing and some of those means by which we were buying at the time. How do we posit that in the forward-looking argument for the sector, while also addressing the immediate concern of the farmers, that they feel shortchanged?
Let me set off by commending, first of all, my good friend Randy Abe for heeding to the calls of the farmers and ensuring that there are some salary cuts at Cocoa Board. Well, prior to this decision, I heard some of the farmers.
Randy is your friend?
Oh, he's a friend. I heard some of the farmers asking, if you are reducing what we are supposed to earn, what have you done at your end? When we are told that the CEO takes several thousands of Ghana cedis monthly, and other directors take several thousands of Ghana cedis monthly. That was the question posed by a farmer, a cocoa farmer. And I'm sure that question is what might have given birth to this salary cuts that we are hearing this morning. That's why I said, let me commend him for at least listening to the plight of the farmers on that score. That said, it is right, and it is a fact that La Côte d'Ivoire, who are our neighbors, who we sometimes even have meetings with as to how we can ensure the welfare of a cocoa farmer in our countries or in our various countries, have maintained the price, the producer price of cocoa in their country, while we have drastically reduced it by imposing a haircut that is so dangerous, that is inimical to the growth of the farmer, which is so bad. My brother says we shouldn't do politics. We do politics with it. I am here to do politics, not to preach. And I'm saying that that common cocoa farmer sitting out there is watching his colleague cocoa farmer in La Côte d'Ivoire today smiling home with 3,600. And our cocoa farmer is suffering a wicked haircut from a wicked government who could have at least done better for that farmer. It's so sad this morning. Joy News reports that this year, Ivory Coast maintains 3,600 equivalent per cocoa bag as Ghana reels from 28% emergency price cut. So it is right, it is clear. Whoever tells you that cocoa, the price in La Côte d'Ivoire has not reduced is not true. In my initial comment, I cited the Agric Minister, my good brother, Honorable Eric Opoku, who said that he's not even aware that cocoa prices in La Côte d'Ivoire was maintained. And I was surprised about it anyway. Now, you see, the president made a very emphatic statement in AU or at AU or the sidelines of the AU meeting, and I could not have agreed with him the more. When he said that it is about time we added value to our beans. I agree with the president. It is. But you see, Roland, is it rhetorical? And I will answer in the affirmative, yes. We have private companies in this country who are ready to process beans and sell them out, add value, but they don't even have access to the beans because of monopoly of Cocoa Board. Private companies ready, over 4 of them. Give them access to even purchase beans from farmers, add value to it, and send it to the international market for us. That will give us some more revenue as a country. I am telling you, their challenge is that they don't even have access to cocoa beans. Because Cocoa Board says, we have had some loans, we have had some contracts locked, and once those contracts are locked, we will not allow you to get some beans, and then therefore you cannot have. I think there should be an arrangement within. If, first of all, we want to encourage industrialization, and somebody comes with his money and invests in a company here, and that company needs a raw product like cocoa beans to develop it, or process it and then sell out, then we tell that person that after all you have done, you still do not have access to the beans. We have had contract with somebody sitting somewhere in some country, and we want to send the raw beans to that person. Are we really thinking? I think we need to revolutionize this entire sector.
Revolutionize?
Yes, we need to. Why? Cocoa agitation did not start today. The Bafua Kotos of blessed memory, even under colonial regime, had to fight for the cocoa farmer. And they listened and did what the cocoa farmer wanted. And in fact, like you said, this is the first time we are hearing that there's drastic haircut on cocoa producer price. The very first time. And you can trace the history. When in 2017, the MPP came to power, and prices of cocoa reduced from 3,000 to 1,900, we did not institute a haircut. We didn't do that. We thought out of the box, put mechanisms in place to ensure that the farmer is not shortchanged and maintained, and grew it from the 475 cedis to about 3,100 when we were leaving power. Only for those who said that they needed to deserve, or the cocoa farmer deserved 6,500, and we were that wicked, were insensitive to their plight. They came today, after the cocoa farmer listened to them, they have decided to give them a wicked haircut and brought them to 2,500 and something. And yet they say we shouldn't do politics with it. We will do politics. The cocoa farmer who is watching me today, if your father is a cocoa farmer, you're a student, your father is in the room crying because he doesn't know how to raise money to take care of you. If your mother is a cocoa farmer and you are a student in Legon, or you are a student at Dimpa, or any of the tertiary institutions, your mother is in the room crying because she's suffering a wicked haircut by a wicked government. And I think that, like I said, we need to be realistic. Cocoa farmers know, or cocoa sector knows, that it is about projections. If the price is at 7,000, is there a possibility of the volatility of it being there, the price increasing or the price reducing? It's up for you to take a very proper decision going forward. What projections did we do? What did we do? These are the questions we have to ask. So for me, what we are seeing today, the government of the day should come out and apologize unconditionally to the farmer, and then, of course, reverse that haircut to at least where it was sold, so that we know that they really care for the cocoa farmer in this country. Otherwise, we think it's not.
Kamaldeen says there's an albatross.
Roland.
Why?
I think
let me come before
no,
So let's.
No, I mean, I think
first, or...
Oh, I think I am
go ahead.
the middleman in the room now.
Oh, why are you?
We are neither left nor right. So that's what I mean.
It's always sad when
Yes.
you hear people from MPP.
No, I mean, Dr. Kamal, honestly speaking, I think that
What have I done?
I think that looking at your performance when it comes to cocoa,
Yes.
the MPP has no moral right whatsoever to criticize anybody.
Give results.
Look, in the year, the crop season 2023-2024, Roland, they projected 800,000 tons.
2020.
2024 crop season. They projected that they were going to have an output of 800,000 metric tons of cocoa. They contracted 786,672. They supplied only 432,767.
So there was a
45%.
Meanwhile, they took the money.
45 depreciation from the projected value.
The 2024 year.
2023-2024 crop season. Now, at that time too, they had a rollover of 333,767 metric tons of cocoa, and they pegged it at $2,661 at that time because of the contractual agreement they had with the off-takers. In 2024, the prices of cocoa rose to $12,200. Roland,
But that
come on.
But that 3,000, they supplied half of it.
but I'm saying that based on the contractual agreement and indeed his word, the wickedness of the MPP government at that time, how would you sell a commodity that is worth 12,200 at that time on the international stage for just 2,661.
What's your point with this?
If there is no wickedness, that is wickedness. You've shortchanged the country and you've shortchanged cocoa farmers. So you have no moral right whatsoever to cry about this issue. And I mean, Honorable, I blame you guys for what is happening. Because for 1 year, over 1 year now, you've not been able to prosecute any of them. For 1 year now, you've not been able to prosecute any of them in this mess. So they have the effrontery to come here or to sit on various platforms to talk about cocoa.
But the prosecution can only happen if they are liable for any offense.
Roland.
And then charges will be preferred.
Talk about even cocoa roads. Over 21 billion cedis losses to the public purse. They contracted people, gave monies, but the roads were never constructed. Till date. And I'm blaming the NDC for this because you promised us oral.
So they gave more contracts than they could raise money to
That's what I'm saying, yes. And so this has contributed a lot to the rot in the cocoa board space. And that is why we are having to discuss this issue.
Bleak picture of the functionality and then also the resourcefulness of cocoa board. It means the whole structure needs to be relooked
Of course, it needs a total revolution. It needs a total overhaul. Indeed, in the NDC's own words, a reset. But we are not seeing that because a reset starts with what? From day one, you should have had a forensic audit on the books of cocoa board.
They waited a whole year?
They waited a whole year.
Action?
I mean, from the onset, post-transition, 7th January, you should kickstart. You have an audit on the sector. Look at who is liable, who is not liable, how much has been lost, who has taken what, and then bring them to book. But till date, we are not seeing anything, except for this matter to come up now that you're going to constitute a committee to audit the books of cocoa board. I think that this is not what the people of Ghana voted for. This is not what we want, and we want anybody that is liable or complicit in the act of corruption within the cocoa board space to be brought to book.
Roland,
yes.
I think that I agree with my brother Doc when he says that I can't blame anybody for what is happening and for the audacity that our brothers have gotten that speaking the way they are speaking. Maybe...
What do you mean by audacity?
It's called the perspective, really. Maybe if you have done the things we're supposed to have done when we took over office, people in NAP will never even comment about the cocoa sector at all. They would have shut their mouths. But maybe we sat back, we allowed them, and so today they think that it is okay to pontificate and rather call other people names for the mess they created. You understand? We were talking about Côte d'Ivoire, that Côte d'Ivoire has maintained the cocoa price. You see, it's that you don't understand the dynamics of what is happening in this whole cocoa business in the sub-region. What we do for our cocoa farmers in Ghana here, same is not done in Côte d'Ivoire and in Togo. The free fertilizer that we were given under NDC, the free students that we give under NDC, the scholarship that we give under NDC, these things are not done in the Côte d'Ivoire. They are not. So ordinarily, you would have expected that even their prices should be higher than our prices, that will give everything to them. Because we hold back some of the prices so we can take care of these other issues. Nevertheless, our prices have always been very competitive, and in some cases, even higher. And that's why you see them bringing their cocoa into this country. Go and check. You quoted Joy FM online. I'm quoting City FM online. So falling global prices leave Ivorian cocoa unsold, farmers unpaid. This is City FM online. I'm not the one saying it. So the same way we are having here today, the same thing is happening in La Côte d'Ivoire. I am saying that as a responsible government, we have taken full responsibility. We are not passing the buck. We are not blaming anybody. We are putting the necessary corrective measures in place. That the system that has lingered on for only God knows how long. Of course, go and check the history of Ghana, cocoa and everything, even the role of someone that Dr. Kwame had to play in those days for which all these silos were built. You know, at a point we were even told that cocoa beans was even burnt in Ashanti region just to create artificial shortage in the world market so we can trigger the price. All these things were done in the past. Did we get the needed results? No. President John Dramani Mahama in this administration is saying that we need to reinvent the wheel. We need to do what we believe will benefit us. And what we intend to do in the short term, add value to our own beans. If we can ship out chocolate, if we can ship out cocoa powder, we can ship out Milo, cocoa butter, what have you, we'll be able to rake in more money, we'll be able to create employment opportunities for our people. But as long as we continue to export raw beans, the only employment you create in that sector is farming.
That's right.
And that is why to keep our people impoverished. If you want our people to benefit cocoa farmers' children to work in factories, then you must set up the factories here, process your cocoa, then we can make so much money. So, cocoa farmers, if for nothing at all, not too long ago, you were under MPP. You saw the way and the manner they treated you. The mess, and that's what I'm saying, I agree with Doc, that maybe we shouldn't have waited till now to say we are now going to do a forensic audit on what happened in Cocoa Board. If you had done that a year earlier, all this screaming and shouting. Today, Kamadin and MB is talking about haircutting in this country.
And I see the, and I see the finance,
for the first time,
but the finance minister is also wading into this. And then I got to know apparently Cocoa Board was no more under a Greek.
It's not a finance.
But managing cocoa is a farmer decision, right? It should be under Ministry of Agriculture.
It is purely a financial issue more. Right, so you need to collaborate. There's a role like
financial, but you need to grow the cocoa well.
Yeah, so definitely
growing the cocoa is
definitely they'll collaborate. It is not going to be purely finance. There's a role I believe as a sector will play. You know,
that's the second. I also have my second round, right?
You don't
yes, you have a last one. You end. So keep all your bullets and then you blast it. Then we end.
I am saying that Ghanaians are very descending, and Ghanaians pass a verdict on you. How you manage every sector of our economy. That verdict was passed on the 7th of December 2024. It is not for you now to come and remind Ghanaians of what you could do or what you could not do. We know. Everybody knew it. We saw you in office. We have come into office. We have inherited the problem we have inherited. We are trying to resolve the issue. My only admonition is that we need to carry Ghanaians along every step of the way. We must let Ghanaians appreciate that when we came into office, this is the state of Cocoa Board that was handed over to us. This is how much money was pushed into Cocoa Board. This is the kind of investment that they did. This is the debt they have left behind. If Ghanaians had been given this information from their word go, I'm sure they would have appreciated where we are today. When we came into office, we made a price at 31. We didn't leave it there. We increased the price. Reality is that today, go and check the price of cocoa in the world market. Is there any magic we could have done to keep the price at that level? So if we said, yes, if we have a nation to build, let's reduce the price, let's be able to buy the beans of the farmers. Because if you go to my village, I was receiving calls every day. People have harvested, people have their beans in their room, nobody was buying it. You know, is that the situation we want? So we don't want to take any lessons because we don't have any to offer in any way from MPP as to how we can manage the cocoa sector. As for the, partisan politics, the pedestrian thing, he's not going to say anything again. We are finished.
Oh, no.
He's not going to say anything. He's not going to say anything again. I am not going to allow you to say anything again because you have nothing useful to say. You have nothing useful to say. Roland, let me conclude.
At least the cocoa farmer knows that. The cocoa farmer knows that he was taking 3,100. Somebody sat somewhere and said you're going to take 6,000.
Were you paying them?
The person came.
Were you paying them?
The person came. The best he could do was to add some few hundred cedis to it. Now, having done that, even that, you opened the window in August, which you claim it was an early opening, which was supposed to be in October, though, because the president had promised that they were going to increase prices. But you opened in August, bought their beans, paid them up to November. They were not paid 2025. Even that, they couldn't pay them. Now, what triggered this had to do with cocoa farmers now complaining that, look, we have even supplied our beans, we have not been paid. Unknown to us, there was no money to pay them. Only for the finance minister to now hold a press conference, the same finance minister who stood and told farmers that we're wicked people, were insensitive to their plight, and that we needed to give them 6,000, that finance minister now comes to tell them, we will give you 2,500. And you say we shouldn't talk, and that we should keep quiet and let the farmers suffer. We will not do that.
Do you care about
if yesterday we didn't do well, as you claim, and Ghanaians punish us, the same way you have scammed them, will Ghanaians punish you in 2028? Because you have scammed them, you have lied to them, you have not told them the truth. So I am saying, my brother sits here and do the mathematics. We were supposed to do XYZ, and we haven't done this. Yes, admitted.
Great.
If the superior people have come and they want to do it, have they done it? They have rather made it worse.
So that is why
They have rather made it worse. Now he says that we were supposed to be prosecuted.
Development is a process.
We were supposed to be prosecuted. We're supposed to do what? At the end of his submission, listen to the doctor's submission. He said, look, I don't blame anybody. If you claim you're going to do research, your forensic audit is what is supposed to start to begin with. You don't wait until you cause a mess again and then want to come and do politics with it and tell people that, oh, we are now going to look into the books and then see if someone is culpable, we will hold the person responsible. Really, for me, I have always maintained whoever is wrong. If you are culpable, if you fall short of the law, let the law deal with you. We are all here, nobody, whether MPP or NDC, whoever is wrong, and the law establishes that person is wrong, let the law deal with that person. But rhetorics, this coming to do politics with it. You told us in the full glare of the media that oral that you have commissioned, oral alone had unearthed about $21 billion US worth, and that you're going to recover $21 billion to Ghanaians. Not knowing it was a lie.
They are paying.
Now when we are pushing you, all you say is that even if I can recover 1 Ghana cedi, so be it. Really?
Are they not paying?
This country, we are watching and we are seeing what is happening. And I think that these people who talk so big their way to power and lie their way to power will not be allowed to continue on this tangent. We shall be on them and we shall be a proper check to them.
Kamaldeen Abdullahi, and then also Fred Agbenyo, and then Dr. Inusa. Dr. Inusa, your time is up. You wanted to...
No. What again are you going to say? No. I don't...
You are the last person. Please,
yes,
you have a minute.
Yes, Roland. I think that I needed to add this before we close here.
Is it related to a subject?
No, Coco, yes. I believe that as a country and as a people, and if the people of Ghana are listening today, we should develop the culture of also consuming cocoa products locally to drive demand so that we can have more monies in the pockets of our farmers. And the government should also have a policy in place. So, for example, the school feeding program. They should leverage on the school feeding program to purchase cocoa products to support our young ones. And you know, cocoa has a lot of health benefits as well. So I think we should drive internal demand for cocoa products. I don't know if you had cocoa today, but I had cocoa today.
Roland,
I don't know.
Do you know how,
is this your contribution?
Roland, yes. Do you know how the MP sold cocoa there? No,
Philip,
no, just a minute.
Philip is saying, please ask.
Cocoa in tankers and in paper trucks.
Okay, Philip, I've seen your message.
Do you know what you did?
And then also, Stella Mama G, I see your Kwame Boateng from Kede says that farmers have grown their cocoa, cultivated, dried the cocoa, bagged them into, bagged the beans into bags, sold them, and you can't pay them, and you are saying what? All right? And then Prince Daniel York says that the monopoly is because the amount used to purchase the cocoa beans are tied to the syndicated loan. It will be expensive for the private company to purchase and add value. If we generate the funds locally, the companies could equally get shares and buy to be processed. And says good morning to Kamal. Okay. And then I have this one also. This one is coming from Richard William, who says the politicians. Okay. I don't know whether, but are you referring to Kamal and Fred? By extension. No, but they said they are neutral, so they are the middle.
You say they are neutral, are they? No, are you neutral?
Prince Henry.
We are nationalists.
Prince Henry says,